This tool is going to revolutionize the way you look at forming and achieving different radius bends. We have Eric with us with ES Press Tool. He's going to answer some questions, maybe some concerns that you have about the tool, even look at some forming options. Eric, take it away. What do we have here? What are we looking at?
All right, so a lot of the questions that are asked is how is that tool being held in there? Is it safe? Are we having any issues with our tool pulling off while we're using it? We've never had that issue. We use strong earth magnets in these tools. We have, like this short 40mm tool here, we have 3 magnets in it. And our shorter tools that we use, we also have a magnet inside of the tip as well. So we have magnets here, and we also have magnetics in this area here.
So do you ever have to worry about the tip pulling off?
No, we've never had any issues with that.
Okay.
Most of your force is going to be a downward force. There's never been any issues to where there's like a side load or anything unless you have something set up wrong on your press brake. All your force is going to be straight down pressure.
One of the questions that we get asked a lot too is tonnage.
Yes.
So are you losing tonnage?
We're not losing any tonnage. We've actually tested it to 60 tons just to get it to bend.
Obviously you're not rating it?
No, we're doing just like everybody else. We're using just a small percentage of that tonnage.
Could you just show us like a couple of the tips being changed off?
So we just have our standard shallow gooseneck punch here. So this is something that you would leave loaded up in your machine as long as you need it. And then if you just need to change your radius out, we can go to a 1-inch radius, click that in, or if we need a different setup, just slide that off. We go to a 1/2-inch radius, slide that on, pull it off. We can go to a 30 thousandths radius, just quickly like that.
Another aspect of the tool that I think is super cool is that the pinch point is always the same. I don't know how you can show that.
Sure. So right now we have a 120 radius loaded up on the machine. I can snap up this 1-inch radius. And even though it's a much larger radius, my pinch point is going to be exactly the same. I can throw a 500 radius up there, and all that's going to be perfect.
Eric, we go to a lot of different trade shows. We meet with different customers, and who would you say the tool's for?
Well, for me, I wish I would have had this when I started press braking back in 2006. I've been using this tool the past 5 years, so it's been a huge game changer for me, just ease of changing out radiuses. Aerospace field, doing prototype work, somebody that's using all kinds of different radiuses on their parts, they're going to want this tool just because, you know, figuring out your bend radiuses that your customer is requiring, bending exotic materials, you're going to do a lot of tip changes, just trying to figure out what you need to get the part accomplished.
So when you're doing a tip change, a lot of times on an exotic material, and you have purchased a punch that you think is going to get your bend radius, you do it, and it's not right. Walk me through that. So do you have to change out a punch?
Yeah, so rather than just buying a whole 1/2-inch radius for a titanium part that calls out for a 1/2-inch radius, you buy a 1/2-inch radius punch, you're not gonna get a 1/2-inch radius. So you may need to make a change to that. With this, you can just simply slide on a smaller radius or a bigger radius.
Just for clarity, this is kind of what you're describing, having to put radiuses to achieve the bend.
Yep.
Notches, the windows.
Right. Yeah. So tools like this are a thing of the past. You're not gonna have to weld on rods on flat stocks anymore. Everything that you need is gonna be with this set of tools here.
Is there any way you can kind of maybe show us a couple examples of some different forming options that you feel would be applicable?
Yeah, so here's an example of gapping our tools to maybe do a part similar to this, to where it will actually fold through your part. Now with gapping, you always want to be careful that you're not putting too much load in the center of your tool. Just like any other tool in the past, you're taking a risk when you're putting a load right here, so you may have some flex a little bit. That's just common with forming, but sometimes that's what you got to do to get the job done. So when you're setting a gap, you always want to make sure that you're leaving the smallest amount of clearance around your part. You only want to set your gap as wide as what your part's going to be forming, just to save on that load as well. And the closer you can get to your tool, the better it's going to be for your actual tip radius. Gapping really isn't the only thing that this tool can do. You're also going to be dealing with parts like this, which is like a box unclosure. So whenever you go to form your last bend on a box like this, you're going to have to get your part back off. So that's not always easy. On this case, it's an aluminum box, so it'll flex a little bit. But after I put my last bend on this box, you can see that I have my tip on there. If I need to break that tip off to get my part off, that'll just break off and your tip will be left in your box. When you go to form your next part, slap your tip back on there and be ready to go. Okay, so we just rearranged our set just to show you how much space savings we actually have. Everything that you need is going to be located in this toolbox. In the press brake world, we all know that we have racks and racks of tools. We got tools laying everywhere. Everything I need right now is in this toolbox. From a large diameter to small. We all know that space is money, time is money, organization is money. This is the definition of less is more in the press brake world.